I thank you, Literacy Partners, for hosting such a beautiful evening.
Do you think it was a fate or just a little help?
Yeah, fate. Whenever things happen that are in people's favor, they call it fate. If bad things happen, they don't call it fate.
You interviewed presidents. What does it take to get the straight answer from a president?
To listen.
Tonight we are not just talking literacy, we are talking legacy, because some voices entertain, but others empower. Tonight I meet the ones who do both. Welcome to a night where stories change lives. This is Rubis Show. Join me. We are here at Pier 60, one of the most New York's iconic waterfront venues. Tonight's guest list is packed with power, but of course, all eyes are on the one and only Oprah Winfrey tonight. And the energy, you can feel it even before we step inside. Your journalist often gives voice to those who go unheard. How do you empower those who want to have their voice?
The most important thing is to find people who are struggling. And you know, we found people struggling all in this country and around the world. Their struggle largely goes unreported. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I mean, we went to Madagascar, where little tiny children were being lowered into mines to mine for mica, which are in all of our electronics, airplanes, all of this. And these children have no voice. They have no way to defend themselves. Their parents are subjected to horrific poverty. Sometimes they're paid pennies for 80 hours of work a week. So they don't have someone to advocate for them. So that was an opportunity for us to do so. And laws around the world started to change as a result. As we stand here tonight, 43 million Americans are unable to read well enough to read their child's report card or a prescription bottle. You know, that's just not okay. So this organization, it really does amazing work in trying to change that. So I'm all in on
Let's
that.
change it. Yeah, let's be together, let's be united.
It's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough. Because, you know, we live in times where it's never been more important to be able to read and read critically, right? There's so much misinformation out there, all over the place. So I think empowering folks to be able to learn to read, especially adults who have, for one reason or another, been bypassed, is really important.
Today we're talking about the literacy, and you've played a key role in shaping modern literature. How do you recognize a writer whose voice deserves to be heard?
Well, I don't know about shaping modern literature. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration. What is remarkable about writers is that each and every one has a voice, and that voice is singular, and you recognize that power within 2 or 3 sentences when you read whatever it is that you're reading.
Have you had a moment when you hear that and stop like, this one matters?
Always. The irony is that mostly what you read is not on. So amidst this forest of things that are not acceptable, whenever you come across something that is singular, you do stop and say, wow.
What does adult literature mean to you?
Well, I just think it means everything. As a physician and writing about health and beauty, it's a way of communicating with people more than I can do in my practice. So it's all educational and it's all positive.
But you don't only read books, you write books. You are an author. What do you write?
Basically, about my research and prevention of aging. The new book is called The Beauty Molecule, and it's about ways of strategies of staying younger and healthy and beautiful.
How how can literacy and science come together to build this curiosity?
I've written 17 books. I'm crazy to think about that when I think about it. And I was delighted when one of them became a runaway bestseller. It meant people were reading. And, reading is not just about you had an interesting novel where you learned about unusual characters interacting. Reading is also where the rest of human knowledge lives. And so I'm privileged to be a part of that community. And I was very honored to be honored here tonight.
Do you remember those exactly moment when you felt very interested in science?
Early. I was 9 years old.
What caught your attention?
A first visit to the Hayden Planetarium here in New York, and now I'm director of the Hayden Planetarium. So that's a little weird. Not weird, but it's like when you're a kid and I see educators and scientists trying to teach me, and now I'm in that same role.
Yeah.
And so I feel it's a sense of duty to give back in the ways that others had given to me.
Do you think it was a fate or just a little help?
Fate. Whenever things happen that are in people's favor, they call it fate.
Yeah.
If bad things happen, they don't call it fate. So I don't fall for that.
You're not the one who reads the horoscope.
Definitely not.
When you reach out for a book, do you prefer to feel the paper or just to swipe the screen?
I think I prefer to feel the paper.
It's classic.
It's classic. I'm still not used to using screens. I used to use screens from time to time. I'm in tech, so I do use screens quite a bit, but I prefer paper. It's a little bit more personal than on the screen.
How about you?
Mine depends on the setting. If I'm on the beach, I want a book. If I'm sitting in my bed, I want an audiobook. I do a lot of reading at work, so the audiobook helps relax me sometimes.
What about your kids?
We have one daughter that's not reading yet, but our oldest daughter prefers physical pages.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the way people read reflects the way they live after that?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think it makes a huge difference. And when you see that someone that is struggling with literacy, it blocks their opportunities to jobs, to educate their own children. And so with that power comes like exponential positive results.
Can I ask you if you have kids?
Yes,
How many of them?
we have 2 kids, Parker, who is 10 years old, and Graham, who is 7 years old.
Do they love reading?
Yeah, and we love reading with them. It's one of our favorite pastimes. I spend a lot of time reading Harry Potter books with my daughter and other books with my son, so it's a lot of fun.
Let me ask if you give them the digital book or just the real printed one.
Ooh, they're still very much into print books. They haven't transitioned over to digital. They're on devices otherwise so often that we feel like pages are important.
What's their favorite book?
Ooh. I don't know what their favorite book is, but a book that I read when I was a kid that my daughter's now reading is a book called The Hotel Cat. I read it in 2nd grade and 3rd grade. I bought it and she's been reading it and telling me about it, so it's been great.
That's the legacy.
Yeah, and our son is reading, I think is it Harvey the Hamster or something? There's some hamster book he's obsessed with. It's a lot of series, and it's the one thing that he's really glued to, so we're excited he's found a passion for that.
Anything that'll keep him reading, we throw it in front of him. Anything.
43 million in the US still struggling with basic skills like reading.
Right.
How do you think how we can solve that?
I think organizations like this, it's a huge problem. Literacy is a tremendous problem. It's a problem in the schools. It's a problem outside the schools. And there are both private organizations that do tutoring. There are lots of volunteers that help young people with reading. And, I'm a slow reader myself. I've always been. But there's great pleasure to be derived from reading and for putting something down on the page.
Bob, can I ask you, as a person who shaped American journalism, what role does literacy still play in holding power accountable?
Well, we've got to get the truth, and it takes time to get the truth. Need to be patient, need to be pursuing, check the facts, not be angry.
You interviewed presidents. What does it take to get the straight answer from a president?
To listen. Okay, they want our picture. You get the straight answer from the people who work for the president.
here. Hello, everybody. And thank you to Literacy Partners. Thank you, Cynthia, for that beautiful introduction. I'm going to give it to Jesus. He can have it. Okay? Jesus can have it. I thank you, Literacy Partners, for hosting such a beautiful evening and for bringing together so many people here who care about the power of words and the power of stories and great storytellers.
Tonight wasn't just about reading words, it was about writing destinies. Because when we give someone the gift of literacy, we don't just open a book, we open a life. Until next time, that was Rubis Show. Bye.